Using your ability to intensify your vision, you focus on the advancing horsemen. You see that they are all wearing surcoats of scarlet and grey, embroidered with a crest bearing an open hand. The only horseman who wears this livery are the cavalry of Telestria. Do you wish to wave down these riders, or would you rather hide from them?
Well, Telestria is a country that's allied with us, so yeah, why not? Maybe they'll help us.
Yeah. Better that than just all of a sudden just surprising them. Better announce our presence.
The Telestrians bring the horse to a halt and regard you with suspicion. The officer draws his sword and demands to know your nationality and the name of your regiment. You reply in his native tongue that you are an Iruan pathfinder, and a smile spreads slowly across his rugged face. He tells you that he and his men are scouts who have been sent to make sure that the hills are free of enemy troops. Yokai's sixth sense confirms that he speaks the truth. When he offers to take you to meet his commander, you accept the invitation gladly.
Now, I'm very happy when we find some friendly soldiers as opposed to, you know, evil encampments.
You share the officer's horse as he leads his company back along a route that they have already ridden. Steadily, the road winds upwards through the hills towards a ridge of yellow rock, and as you reach the crest of the ridge, you catch your first awe-inspiring glimpse of Torgar. And you get a picture.
Okay.
Old Torgar!
City Fortress of Torgar, okay. Okay, that thing is pretty big, but it just feels like it's just standing out there nowhere.
That castle is way too square.
I do not really
I think it's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's cool, but as Givinez said, I do not really think the architect thought of any, you know, elaborate things apart from those towers over there.
And who has taught these people to cross a bridge? They're walking in a zigzag.
I think
they're actually walking along a siege trench.
Huh.
What now?
A siege trench. You know, trenches to avoid getting shot.
Oh.
Siege trenches are dug in a zigzag pattern towards whatever it is that you're besieging, so that when you're finally ready to storm the place, the soldiers don't have to run a long distance, run across a long distance of open ground. Instead, they can walk along the siege trenches and then just run a short stretch of ground.
And the trench can't be straight ahead because that would kind of ruin the purpose.
Yeah,
I see.
Then we can just shoot straight into it. Zigzag. Then we can hide along, you know, the walls of it.
Okay. In any case, the walls of this grim city fortress stands upon the brink of a ravine cut deep by centuries of rushing water.
It's ravine.
Ravine, sorry. A natural causeway of stone spans this dark chasm and provides the only means of approaching Torgar from the south. Its position and its defense seems impregnable. So, yeah, no children here. It commands the only road into the barren land of Gatan, and any who dare travel that road must pass over the causeway and through the city's great iron gate. In the past there have been few who would venture willingly to Torgar, but now the causeway and its approaches swarm with such men. They are the soldiers of Telestria and Palmyrion, and they have come with the engines of war to lay siege to this grim Dracarum fortress. So yeah, I guess that might actually be a siege trench. The scout officer spurs his horse away from the ridge, and you are carried towards a cluster of tents that stand on high ground, overlooking the siege works. As you arrive, a group of knights steps forward to take the horse reins. You dismount with the officer and fall as you enter the largest tent.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I know they have siege engines, but besieging that wall looks like suicide to me, because if we are just to measure from this little zigzagging of soldiers down here, that would mean that the walls are, could we say, over 50 meters tall.
Inside the tent, a group of senior officers are poring over their battle maps and planning their troop dispositions for an assault across the causeway. Their leader has his back to you, but when he turns to see who has entered his tent, you recognize him at once. He is Adamas, Lord Constable of Garthan. "By the gods!" he exclaims. "I thought the Danarch had claimed you, Lone Wolf. How good it is to see you alive!" He dismisses his captains and bids you tell all that has happened since last you met. "So you wish to break into Torgar," he says thoughtfully. "How strange it is that our goals should be so similar. Come, follow me. Perhaps our cooperation will hasten our success." A short distance from Lord Adamas' tent stands a wooden watchtower constructed by his army engineers, which offers an unobstructed view of the causeway and the great gate of Torgar. As you reach the top of its rickety ladder and steps onto the platform beside the Lord Constable, he recounts the events that led to the siege of the city fortress. Following his victory over the Ogians and the destruction of Sanar, Adamas led the allied armies of Bor, Talestria and Palmyrion along the Blackshroud Trail in pursuit of the shattered enemy. When they reached the Agnakor Kusim, the Road of Slaves, the army of Bor was detached and sent to assail Blackshroud from the east, while the bulk of the allied forces marched north towards Torgar. When Talestria was overrun in the early days of the war, thousands of her people were taken as slaves and imprisoned here in this fortress. Lord Adamas had sworn that one day he would free them, and he was determined to fulfill his pledge. During the march north, a great battle was fought near the wastelands of Sutesna against two Giak armies led by Dark Lord Krogenskull and Dark Lord Clansor.
Wow, terrifying names.
Yeah. Both were soundly defeated by the Allies and sent back to Cragmantle to lick their wounds. Although victorious...
Cragmantle.
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 Cragmantle. Cragmantle.
Yeah, Cragmantle.
Cragmantle.
Seriously, that name.
To lick their wounds. Although victorious at Sutesna, the Allies had suffered heavy losses, and Adamas feared they would be too weak to storm Torgar. He was too far from his homeland for reinforcement to reach him swiftly, and there was the growing threat that the Dark Lords would muster their troops in Tanos and Moskwa and attack again. Faced with this grave dilemma, he decided to risk an assault on Torgar. We have means to breach the Iron Gate, he says, staring purposefully at the great door of Torgar. The Elder Magi have given us a device that will reduce it to twisted scrap, and when we march through the portal and free our people, we shall have all the reinforcements we need.
I'm not so sure. Maybe he counts on them being ready to fight in there once they free them, but yeah, enslavement has a tendency to, you know, break morale.
Yeah, but liberation tends to reinvigorate it, dude.
Yeah, I know, but still.
It could go both ways. It depends on how they've been treated. If they've been severely weakened by their stay here, well, then there's a limit to what they can do. If they're fairly okay, then the reinvigoration of being freed should help a lot.
Yeah, better be
And if
overly
they
cautious.
have been treated really well, they're probably just gonna fight with their master.
That too. The hoarse cries of soldiers and the blare of war trumpets announce preparations for an assault across the causeway. Armored infantry gather in a spearhead formation and wait for the order to advance towards a wall of logs and earth, which has been thrown up to protect the vanguard troops dug in on the causeway itself. Okay, so it's not a trench, it's walls, but it kind of serves the same function then.
Don't you think that straight line ahead of what we assume is a trench could be the wall?
I would assume so immediately. These
Maybe,
were...
You know, kind of a barricade.
Yeah, I guess it would be kind of hard to dig into the rocks, so I suppose they would have to do this instead. But still, same principle. These warriors scuttle about behind the ramparts, holding arched wooden shields over their bent backs to protect them against the arrows raining down from the battlements. The Iron Gate stands less than 50 yards from their position, and this approach is heaped with the bodies of those who have fallen during previous assaults.
Ouch.
You accompany Lord Adamas as he makes his way through the massed ranks of infantry and enters a trench which zigzags towards the causeway. Okay, so there is a trench! He stops at a log-lined hollow dug out of the trench wall and speaks with a captain who is lying there, nursing a broken arm. The wounded officer hands him his leather satchel, and Adamas continues along the trench until he reaches the center of the causeway. There you both take cover with the vanguard and peer through a slit in the log wall at the formidable entrance to Torgar. It's an impressive looking door, says Adamas, studying the wall of black iron pitted and streaked with age. But every door has its key, and we have the key to this one. He flips open the leather satchel and removes what appears to be a mass of triangular crystals fused into one solid lump. This is the device that the Elder Magi prepared for us. It has to be placed at the front of the door and is activated by pressing this shard, it says, pointing to a sliver crystal protruding from the side. The thing explodes 10 seconds after the shard is pressed.
So it's basically a magic demolition charge.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not sure, but I think back in the old times they had someone who had to, as we probably have to do now, run up, place something at a door, and then run back. I think it was called a petardere.
Calmly, he takes a coin from his pocket and flicks it in the air. One of us must place the device, he says as he catches the coin. We are the only two left who stands a chance of surviving the run. He nods as his clenched fist and invites you to call heads or tails. Do you wish to use divination?
Yeah, because
No,
we are...
that's cheating.
Give an
Well,
ear.
we're the wolf. Oh,
Point taken.
So you wish this to be random then?
Yeah.
Okay.
oh well.
Then do you wish to call heads or tails?
Yes.
Heads.
Heads.
When he opens his fist, you see that the coins show tails. Fate has chosen you for this heroic task, Kai Lord, he says, and
Fair
hands you
enough.
the leather satchel containing the crystal explosive. My men will cover you with their crossbows when you make your run. Place the device so that the shot faces the door, and remember, you have only 10 seconds to get back once it is activated. You shoulder the satchel, and as Adamas gives you order to his men to fire, you scramble over the rampart and sprint towards the great iron door. Roll
There we
2.
are.
Roll a die, and you may add 2 because you have a hunt mastery.
7.
Gives us 9 in total.
The shouts of the defenders and the metallic twang of the vanguard's crossbow echo across the causeway as you sprint headlong towards the door. A rain of boulders begin to fall, smashing around you with terrific force, but you manage to dodge these and reach your goal unscathed. Quickly, you tear the satchel from your shoulder, prime the crystal explosive, and sprint back, counting the seconds with every step. Suddenly, a terrific jolt throws you forward, and a dull throbbing pain spreads across your back. A falling rock has clipped your shoulder blade and knocked you to the ground. You lose 4 endurance points.
Ow!
Ow, indeed.
Desperation suppresses the pain, and you scramble over the rampart with only 1 second to spare. The crystal explodes with a blinding flash, releasing a bolt of sun-like energy that tears a massive hole in the 1-foot-thick iron plate and transforms what little remains into red-hot slag. The shuddering concussion jars the entire causeway, and fragments of glowing metal falls all around you.
Jesus
Triumphant
Christ.
cheers rise above the thunderous boom that is rumbling through the ravine, as the spear point of Adamas' army surges across the causeway towards the ruined gates.
In other words, single kaboom, and our friends run in and take the place.
And there's a picture of what you just did.
Okay, and the reason I would like that we, as we happen to be, ran in.
Right, here's what you just managed to do.
Alright, but then again, we are wearing...
Nice!
Let us have a... Okay. And this door was... This door was very powerful, right?
Yeah.
We just made a triangular explosion.
Well, that's magic for you.
Actually, the gate is triangular. Or was
Yeah,
triangular.
Yeah, it
And then
was.
why didn't it just melt all of the stone around it too?
I don't know. Maybe it was specifically designed to melt metal as opposed to stone. I don't know.
I don't know, does metal melt quicker than stone? I think it does.
Yeah.
Possible. I guess
And
so.
by the way,
But it didn't leave them unaffected. As you can see, the stone was scorched.
but as I was saying, the reason I wanted us to run in was the fact that we are practically wearing protagonist armor, and I do not really want to risk any more guys that happen to follow us. That there is.
Ah, so you wanted to use divination so you could choose the heads or tails based on what would send you into the fray.
Yeah, because, well, no offense, but we can take it. I don't know if they can. We are Kai Lord for a reason.
Yeah, well, the two of us wanted it to be random, so there you have it.